Turning Red was definitely one of the most heartwarming Pixar films we've ever seen. The story managed to resonate with a lot of people and had tons of moments that we loved, which is a huge feat considering it was only 90 minutes long. In today's video, we'll be going over some of the best scenes from the amazing Pixar film. So let's dive into the video to see which ones were our favorites. Starting at number 9, it's when May was embarrassed by her mom. The early teen years can be tough, especially if you have overbearing parents. In Turning Red, May's mom is very overprotective. This leads to tons of moments where May's left quite embarrassed by her. And we've gotta say, each one of these is highly relatable. Ming is a likable character, and we think as we grow older, we can understand her line of reasoning a lot more. But we can't help but feel like we've been in the exact same position in our lives as May was in during the movie.
Mamie, there you are. Hey, Mom, you're 10 minutes late. What happened? Are you hurt? Are you hungry?
For our number 8 spot, it's when May was obsessed with boy bands. One of the best elements of Turning Red was the obsession that May had with the boy band 4town. To be fair, their music was genuinely quite catchy, so we don't blame her. Considering the movie was set back in 2003, it's entirely believable that a boy band would be one of the biggest obsessions for May. If you are around the same age as May is in the movie, then you can totally relate to how much she loved the boy band shown in the film. Everything from their dance routines to outfit. It's something that May and her friends went crazy over, and we feel like we would be as well.
May I remind you what real men look like?
4town.
Yes!
At number 7, we've got the film's greatest portrayal of teen crushes. We've all been at that awkward age, right? Puberty is a weird thing to navigate, and not a lot of films properly showcase it. Turning Red does an excellent job at it though. The film even had a scene where it featured menstrual products. Though we've gotta say, the scene that absolutely kills it in this regard is when May starts drawing pictures of her crush, Devin. She's got loads of sketches of him in her notebook. It's nice to see teen crushes shown in this way. Attraction and all the different things that come along with it can be strange to deal with at such an age, and loads of films don't talk about it nearly as much as they should. Turning Red discusses it in the right amount without making it the center of the story. It highlights how May feels about a certain guy in her life and how that attraction is coming out in its own quirky way. Anyone who's had a crush on someone when they were a teenager can probably relate to all the wacky stuff that May does in the movie. Next, at number 6, it's when the girls accepted May. Some friendships truly last a lifetime, even if you just happen to transform into a giant red panda. After May revealed her condition to her friends, we're supposed to think they won't want to be friends with her anymore. But the opposite ends up happening. All her friends are super supportive and try to calm her down. They even state that May will always be their girl, or panda, no matter what. It's just the perfect dose of sweetness that a film like this really needed, and really makes us think back to the friendships that we had back at this age. At such an age, we think most people just end up thinking the friends they've made are going to be there forever. But due to one reason or another, sometimes those friendships end up changing. Still, much like the girls in Turning Red, we're sure most people had a circle who supported and loved each other a lot at this age. The girls are definitely out to support each other in the movie, and that's what makes May eventually turning her back on them even more heartbreaking. Plus, at number 5, it's when May and Ming fight each other. The entire ending sequence in the film is definitely amazing. You've got May's family and friends all chanting her name and trying to get her into that other realm. This would have separated May from her panda body. But the one part that we still love the most out of all this is when May and Ming fight each other. The fact that they're both in panda forms just adds so much humor to the entire situation. We've been hard pressed to find anyone who didn't laugh out loud seeing Ming's panda being literally bigger than the stadium. And then you've got May, who was trying to tell her that she had changed and this is who she was now. The intensity and sheer chaos of the scene had us cry laughing the entire way through. At number 4, it's when May learned that her mother was just like her. A moment from Turning Red that really resonated with us is when May learned that her mother was just like her during her age. In the other realm, where women go to separate themselves from their inner red panda form, May learned that back when she was younger, her mother was just like her. She sees a younger version of her mother who's crying, and it's during this scene when May realizes that her mom had to go through the same pressures that she was feeling right now. The idea of being perfect at everything and not being able to mess up. All the while, May didn't know how to tell her mother that it was stressing her out. out. Turns out, her mother had to go through a similar situation back when she was young. It's a great full circle moment for the story that shows that even Ming had to go through similar family troubles. And this was around the same time when her own red panda had been coming out more and more. Though it seems that Mei is able to break this cycle as she takes her mother's hand and leads her to where the others are. She makes it so that her mom wasn't alone and that she herself could have someone to share the struggle with. It's a sweet moment that we definitely think ranks among the most heart-touching things we've seen in a Pixar film. Moving on to number 3, we've got Ming and Mei finally make up. Near the end of the film, Mei and her mother were able to settle their differences. Mei tells her mom that she's going to keep her red panda form. It's in this form that she feels like she's most free and herself. And so, throwing it all away didn't feel like the right thing to do. Instead, she chooses to grow as a person. Her mother, who wasn't up for this idea at the beginning of the movie, learns to accept her daughter's choice and understands that she's going to make her own path in life. It's a great moment and the right conclusion that we needed for a film like this. It shows how the two have changed from the start of the movie. Mei, who's becoming more of herself instead of the version of her that her mother had always seen, and Ming for learning to let go of her daughter and easing some of the stress that she placed on her. Plus, Ming also realizes that it's time to let Mei be her own person and to let her transform into a young woman in her own way. It's a moment that can bring anyone to tears and certainly had the same effect on us. For our number 2 spot, we've got the Lee family raising money for the Sky Dome. It's definitely a bit sad that Fort Town show got ruined because of all the chaos in the film. But hey, at least the Lee family was kind enough to find a way to raise money to rebuild the Sky Dome. And the fact that they used Mei's red panda as a way to do it was just the icing on the cake. This is easily one of the best moments in the film because it highlights that the change in Mei's character that the red panda brings isn't just for show. It's going to affect her from now on and perfectly sums up why she's such an adorable character. The fact that she's able to bring in money like this and is able to be her real self while doing it is definitely a huge win. Though we imagine raising the funds will definitely take up a lot of time, but it's still something that Mei accomplished without needing to hide her real self. And finally, for number 1, we've got the time when Mei used her red panda to be herself. This isn't anyone's point in the movie, but something that Mei generally did across various points. The whole point of the film wasn't just about a girl turning into a giant red panda, but more about a girl who discovered herself and learned to grow as a result of it. It's a coming-of-age story that's told in an amazingly refreshing way. Throughout the story, Mei learned to accept herself for who she was and carved her own path forward. She realized that there are more paths for her to follow than what just her mother has set for her. Because of how universal a story like this is, we think it's got the capacity to speak out to many people, and the fact that it talks about fairly sensitive topics while still managing to remain quite lighthearted and funny is a great indication of the film's effectiveness. The core message is about freeing ourselves from the pressures that we deal with and loving ourselves. It's a message that not only speaks to kids, but also to adults, many of whom might have felt like they've had to hold themselves back for most of their lives. Because of all this, we can't help but feel like the film is really underappreciated. It's got a lot of great elements, but overall, it didn't feel like it got nearly as great of a reception as it deserved. And with that, that's a wrap for this video. Which of these moments from Turning Red do you think was the best? Comment below, give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.